Hi, I'm Andy Aledort, and today's lesson is going to be on how to harmonize guitar solos and guitar lines. All right, let's begin with an A major scale, and I'm going to show you the most commonly used way to harmonize an ascending line. If we start with the first 5 notes of the A major scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E. We're going to harmonize those 5 notes by starting 2 scale degrees higher. So if the first note is A, that's the root note, the 1 of an A major scale, you play 2 scale degrees higher, B, C sharp. So you use the 3rd scale degree, C sharp, and the 1st scale degree at the same time. 1, 3. And that harmony is known as a third. So if this is the melody, the harmony is, so that is a harmonized line that is played thirds apart. If you were to play that on one guitar, it would be played like this. Now I'll play an entire octave of an A major scale in harmony. All right, now let's move this 2-note A and C sharp ascension up the A major scale up an octave to here. All right, so we had a 3-note shape. Now let's take the top 2 notes of that shape and just look at those. So you're starting your guitar harmony, you're still thirds apart, but you're starting from a major third with the 5th above it. Now let's move that up an octave, C sharp here and E here. This is still in the key of A. We can further harmonize this line by adding another third on top, so we have a 3-note figure, and this is known as stacking thirds. So the way we do this is we had our first note, A, and we played a third above that, C sharp. Now we're going to play a third above that, which is the note E. Now, we play all 3 of those notes together, you get this. All right, to further illustrate how to harmonize using thirds, I'm going to play an ascending pattern based on A major, starting from the root note, the major third, and the 5th, and you'll hear the lowest line as the melody, and then the 2 higher lines are the harmony lines. All right, let's go back to our 3-note shape. And now, instead of using either the bottom 2 as we had, or the top 2 as we had, let's use the notes that are on the extremes, the root and the 5th. And you can do the same thing we've done to harmonize this ascending melody. We're calling it a melody. It's the A major scale. We're harmonizing it a 5th higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 scale degrees higher. So you get this. Another technique you can use is you can displace one of the notes. So if we have our root note and our third, let's take that root note and move it up an octave and keep the third where it was. So instead of going, we take that A and put it on top, we get. So now the melody is up here. and the harmonies here. Alright, now let's take our two-note figure where we had the major third and the fifth, and we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to move that major third up an octave, but we're going to keep our fifth where it is. So instead of having these two notes, C sharp with an E above it, we're going to have C sharp with an E below it. And that sounds like this. So let's now play a few different melodic ideas that are more like music instead of just straight up a scale, and then we'll harmonize that line. Alright, now let's take the same concept and we're going to apply it to a natural minor scale, which is also known as Aeolian. So we're going to do it again in the key of A. This is A natural minor, A Aeolian. If you're going to start that scale a minor third higher, staying diatonic all the way to A natural minor, you would start with C, and then the scale would ascend from C. In harmony, that sounds like this. Alright, now let's devise a melody using the A natural minor scale. If this is our melody, so to create our harmony, we can start a third higher, staying diatonic to A natural minor. That would be starting from C, and we're going to play the same shape, melodically speaking. And we can add another harmony, a third above that, which would be starting from the fifth. Root, third, fifth. Now let's play that same harmonized figure up an octave. Alright, this next harmonized melodic line is played in the style of Randy Rhoads. Here's the melody. Here's the harmony. All right, sometimes harmonized melodies can come from triadic shapes and harmonized triadic shapes. So a triad is a 1-3-5 in a scale. So using minor again, natural minor, 1, A, minor third C, 5th E. If that's our melody, we're going to move up to the next note in the triad and then play a triad starting from that note, an A minor triad, using the same notes. C, E, A. And then what you can do commonly is you will move that triadic shape down as the melody, and then the other triadic shape also moves down as the harmony. And that sounds like this. This would be the harmony. All right, let's take this idea of using triads to create melodies one step further and create a more complicated melody using triads, and then we're going to harmonize it. So here's the melody. And now we're going to harmonize that a third higher, still staying diatonic to A natural minor. All right, many of the harmonized guitar solos you hear in blues and in blues rock and in classic rock are based on the Mixolydian mode, because that goes with dominant seventh chords. So Mixolydian is just like a major scale, except the seventh scale degree is not a major seventh. It's a dominant seventh, also known as a flat seventh. So here's A Mixolydian. Again, you can harmonize that scale by playing a third higher, staying diatonic, meaning using only the notes from A Mixolydian. Together, that sounds like this. All right, now I'm going to play a melody based on A Mixolydian, and then I'm going to harmonize it. Harmonize that a third higher like this. And you can even add another one, a third higher than that, to the previous two. All right, another scale that's used very prevalently in rock is minor pentatonic. A minor pentatonic is played like this. Now, if you're going to harmonize the notes to A minor pentatonic, you can use the notes from A natural minor, but you're going to be skipping some of the notes because it's a pentatonic scale and it doesn't follow a normal seven-tone scale. If you were to do that, it would sound like this. You could also use the Mixolydian scale to harmonize it. You do hear this sound commonly where the root note is harmonized with a major third. That would sound like this. So because of this discrepancy in the thirds with minor pentatonic, sometimes you'll harmonize just using fifths, a fifth apart. So if you played this, you would start a fifth higher for the harmony, and together. All right, so oftentimes a minor pentatonic melody will be harmonized using the Mixolydian scale if it's intended to be over a dominant sound. So if you had this lick, you'd harmonize it like this. All right, if you want to retain a minor sound when you're playing a minor pentatonic melody, instead of using Mixolydian to harmonize, you would use Dorian. Now, if this is your melody, this would be your harmony. All right, here's another one. All right, now let's try this with pentatonic major. Here's A pentatonic major. If we harmonize that starting a third higher and then staying diatonic to the scale, you end up with this. Major pentatonic melodies are usually harmonized using a different scale, just as we had used different scales to harmonize minor pentatonic. And the scale used commonly to harmonize major pentatonic would be a scale known as the hexatonic scale. And this is something you hear in the Allman Brothers music and especially in the music of Dickie Betts. So if we have an A major pentatonic melody like this, we're going to use A hexatonic major to harmonize it. Another great way to harmonize major pentatonic is instead of putting a third above, you put the fifth below, and then you can stay within the diatonic structure of major pentatonic. So if this is our melody, you'd harmonize it like this. All right, now for our last example, I'm going to play a melody based on A major pentatonic, and I'm going to harmonize it 3 times higher. So you're going to end up with 4 guitars all played in harmony. 1 melody line and 3 harmonized lines.